Hey there, guys. Welcome back. For those of you just joining us for the first time, this is a 1908 Major League Baseball replay with Skeetersoft NPIII, which started off life as a board-only game and is now sort of a hybrid board-computer game. As you can see, I have my trusty dice here over on the dice cam. This is me right down here below the screen, and this comes from the Windows version of National Pastime 3. Interesting stories behind this game that I actually haven't told yet. Those will come in the future in good time, my friend, in good time. This 1908 replay, we're playing both the American and National League. I manage both teams, and I show you the games that appear to be of relevance to the pennant race as we move forward. We're about 23 to 25 games into the season with each team. As you can see in the National League, it's the Giants and the Cubs who are off and running. The American League, it's anybody's race, mostly the Athletics and the Red Sox, and we will see the Red Sox today against the Detroit Tigers. Tigers only 4 games out. Of course, they won the American League pennant in 1907. And then lost the World Series to the Cubs. The Cubs, meanwhile, trying to get up in there fighting against the Giants. The '08 Giants are one of those great teams in baseball history that people forget about. So we've seen a lot of them. We're going to see some more. Here's Sam Crawford for Detroit. His roll is a 32 for a 26. It's going to be a ground ball to second base. McConnell has it, throws on to first, one away. Here's now Matty McIntyre. I'd love to go into a lot of detail about exactly what's happening in this game, but there are other videos for that. I don't want to waste your time too much. McIntyre rolls a 64 for a 13. That's a strikeout there for Cy Young. 2 away. Young now 21 strikeouts on the season, but only the 3-4 record. 0.60 ERA, 175 batted against average, and he's 3-4. Man, you can't get any love, can you? Roll for Claude Rossman now is a 56 for a 34. There's a little E result, and the little E roll is a 51, and it's a pop-up over to the shortstop. It will be Heine Wagner making the catch for the out. And we go to the bottom of the first. Doc Gessler up here for the Red Sox. Those of you who are curious, I am using original transactions, but not original lineups. These are the lineups I pulled out of a hat, so go figure that one out. Doc Gessler rolls a 52 for a 27 ground ball. Left side, it's going to be Coughlin who has that, throws over to first, one away. Bob Unglaub now rolls a 35 for a 9. It's going to be a pop-up again, left side, and Coughlin's got that, 2 gone. Amby McConnell now comes up and rolls a 13 for a 14, and he'll be on base with a walk. Mullen giving up, of course, his first walk of the game, 16th of the season. That'll bring up Heine Wagner, who's got 10 RBIs, hitting 290, which is excellent for 1908. Wagner rolls a 42 for a 23. It's going to be changed to a 40 result, and that's going to be a little ground ball over to Rossman. The first baseman goes to the bag for it, and we go to the top of the second. Jeremy Schaefer here for the Tigers, hitting 275. His roll is a 32 for a 26. It's a ground ball over to McConnell. Amby throws to first, one away, and here he is, Tybe Cobb. Only 262 so far this season. He's been a disappointment, but we're very early. I mean, this is, May 12th? His roll is a 56 for a 22, changed to 19, and that's going to be a ground ball over to Lord at third, and he boots that one for an error, and that'll bring up Bill Coughlin. Now, we got Ty Cobb on first base. We're going to run. Coughlin rolls an 11 for a 7. That's going to be a single to right field, and Cobb moves all the way over to third, and that brings up Red Downs. So Downs comes up here. Runners on at first and third. Downs is hitting 230, but has 12 RBIs, and he's going to try to get at least one more. His roll is a 65 for a 35. There is, however, that little E roll, and it's an 11 within the range, and that's going to change to 17. That's going to be a single to right field. That'll score Cobb, and then that will score the other runner as well. And Downs ends up making it to second on an error charged to the right fielder Gessler. And so it's now 2-0 Tigers. 1 hit for the Tigers, first hit of the ball game. 2 errors here on the Red Sox, and here's Bosch Schmidt. 1 out here, again, top of the second. And the roll is a 25 for an 8. Come back over to Cy Young. He throws to first for the out. Downs moves up to third. 2 gone. It'll be George Mullen, the pitcher for the Tigers, coming up next. Mullen rolls a 32 for a 26. That's going to be a ground ball. Second base, it will be McConnell on to first, and we go to the bottom of the second. Harry Lord to lead this off. He had one of those errors in the top of the second inning. Tigers up 2-0. But if you've been watching these games, you know that 2-0 lead is not exactly safe, not in Boston, that's for sure. Lord rolls a 63 for a 31. That'll be a fly ball over to center field. Crawford has that. There's 1 away. Denny Sullivan now. He rolls a 63 for a 30. It's a fly ball left field. McIntyre's got that. 2 gone. Bill Kerrigan now. Kerrigan rolls a 35 for 38. Changed to 37. That'll be a strike. Next roll is a 13 for a 36, changed to a 40. It's a foul ball, so 2 strikes on him. This happens sometimes with games like this. Next is a 55 for an 8, and there is the single to left center field, and that's the first hit of the game for the Red Sox, and here comes Gabby Kravitz. Kravitz hitting 181, respectable, I suppose. He rolls a 22 for a 7. Now put that feather in your cap. That's a single to right center, and that'll send Kerrigan over to third, and that brings up Cy Young. Cy Young not exactly part of Murderer's Row here, but respectable hitting for a pitcher. Hitting 190 so far this season. On-base percentage has suffered a bit, and his roll is a 46 for a 13, and so you can forget about it. We go to the top of the third. It's still 2-0 Tigers. 2 hits, however, for the Red Sox in that inning, and here comes Sam Crawford for Detroit. He rolls a 43 for a 29, comebacker to Cy Young, who throws to first, and there's 1 gone. Up next is Matty McIntyre. And McIntyre rolls a 66 for a 0. His next roll is a 16 for a 6. That'll be a double to right center field. That'll bring up Claude Rossman. Rossman hitting number 3, 258 his average, 376 that slugging percentage, but only 8 RBIs. You expect that to be a little bit better when we're about 25 games into the season. His roll is a 55 for a 7, and that'll be a single to right field, and that scores the runner, and that means it's 3-0, and Cy Young's kind of falling apart. That balloons his ERA up to a whopping 0.73. Up next, Jeremy Schaefer. Schaefer rolls a 31 for a 9, and that's going to be an infield hit against Young that sends Rossman to second, and here come the Tigers, and here comes Ty Cobb. So it's 1 out, top of the third. The Tigers looking to blow this one open, already 3 runs across. Cobb rolls a 15 for an 11. That'll be a single over second base. It'll score 1. Jeremy Schaefer goes to third, and Cobb, of course, steals second base. How many times do you see that happen? 4-0 is the score. Cy Young is having his lunch handed to him here, and that brings up Bill Coughlin. Bill rolls a 63 for a 30, fly ball left field. It will be Kravitz who grabs that one for the second out, not deep enough to score Jeremy Schaefer. 2 gone, and here's Red Downs. And Red rolls a 53 for an 18. It's changed to a 22. That's going to be a ground ball over to the third baseman, Lord, who throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the third. But the Tigers have done their damage here. It's 4-0 the score, and this brings up Doc Gessler. Gessler rolls a 31 for a 9. It's a pop-up over the left side, and it will be Coughlin making the grab for the out, 1 away, and that brings up Bob Unglaub now. 0 for 1 so far today is Unglaub, hitting 302, just barely over 300. Rolls a 21 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left, and McIntyre's got that, so much for 300. Here now, Amby McConnell. Amby rolls 54 for a 45. That'll be a fly over to right field. Cobb's got that. We go to the top of the fourth. Boss Schmidt up here for the Tigers. And the boss rolls a 51 for an 8. That'll be a ground ball to Heine Wagner at short. Throws to first, 1 away. Wouldn't it be something for with the Pirates and the Red Sox of the World Series, and you had Wagner against Wagner at short? Be pretty easy, wouldn't it? George Mullen rolls a 24 for a 13 and strikes out. 2 gone, and here's Sam Crawford. 2 away, 4-0 Tigers. Top of the fourth. Crawford rolls a 52 for a 27. It's a ground ball left side. Lord has it, throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the fourth, and here is Heine Wagner. Heine Wagner hitting 287, not quite as good as his counterpart in Pittsburgh. He rolls a 41 for a 28 ground ball to shortstop Schaefer, throws to first, 1 away. Here's Harry Lord. Lord rolls a 52 for a 27, ground ball this time to Coughlin at third, throws to first, and there's 2 away, and it's Denny Sullivan for the Red Sox. Rolls a 62 for a 12, and the little lead roll comes. It's an 11, and that's going to be another error. This one on the Tigers. That will be changed to a 21. Error on Rossman, the first baseman, as he tried to grab that ground ball to him and dropped it in the end. That brings up Bill Kerrigan. 4-0 still Tigers. Red Sox looking to get on the board. Kerrigan rolls a 54 for a 45. That'll be a little fly ball to center. Crawford has it for the out, and we go to the top of the fifth. Matty McIntyre comes up for Detroit. Matty rolls a 21 for a 30, fly ball left field. It will be Kravitz with it for the out, 1 away. Now it's Claude Rossman, 1 for 2 today. Single, drove 1 in and scored a run later on. Only 5 hits for the Tigers and 4 runs out of it, so they're being efficient. He rolls a 65 for a 35. Little E roll is a 24, just missing the range. It's going to be a pop-up left side. Lord has that for the out, 2 gone. And here's Jeremy Schaefer. Schaefer rolls a 54 for a 45. Here is that little E roll again, and it's a 32, misses the range. Fly ball to right field this time. It will be Gessler grabbing that, and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Gabby Kravitz leads this one off, bottom of the 5th for the Red Sox, down by 4, trying to get a rally. Kravitz rolls a 24 for a 13 and strikes out. There's 1 away, the strikeout number 2 for George Mullen. And here's Cy Young, the other man who struck out. Cyrus rolls a 54 for a 45. Wasn't his name like True Denton Young, something like that? Cyclone. They didn't call him Cyrus. It was Cyclone. His Little League rolls a 21 inside the range. It's changed to a 21, which means it's an error on Rossman, and so Young makes it to first. He's going to ask me why I got his nickname wrong. I know that he was called Cy because he was like a cyclone. Give me a break. Doc Gessler up there now, 0 for 2 today, hitting .390. Excellent. Well, probably the best hitter in the American League right now. But 0 for 2 today. He rolls a 35 for a 9. That's going to be a ground ball to the left side. Coughlin has it, throws to first for the out, and Cy Young moves to second, 2 away. And here's Bob Unglaub. And yeah, he rolls a 65 for a 35. Bad news for him. And the Little League roll, of course, 36. So it's a pop-up over to the left side, and Coughlin has that for the out, and we go to the top of the 6th. Ty Cobb comes up here for the Tigers in the top of the 6th inning. Ahead 4-0. Cobb today so far 1 for 2. He rolls a 61 for a 40, changed to 23, and that will be a wild throw and a swinging bunt by Cobb. Bad throw by Kerrigan, the catcher, and so Cobb makes it to first base. That means he's 1 for 3 today, but has been on all 3 times. Can't he get a break? Bill Coughlin up now. Coughlin rolls a 25 for a 9. That's a single that beats out the infield hit against Young, and Cobb moves up to second. That brings up Red Downs now. Normally I'd bunt, but you're up by 4. No need. Downs rolls a 42 for a 13, and that's a strikeout number 3 registered by Young. 1 away. Here's Bosch Schmidt. He rolls a 66 for a 0. That's why you don't bunt. Next rolls a 56 for a 6, and that'll be a double to left center field, and that will score 1. The second runner will be thrown out at home because he's slow. Coughlin, that is. Schmidt is on at second base, and it's a 5-0 game as Cobb has scored again. And here now is George Mullen. George rolls a 32 for a 26 as a ground ball over to second base, and it will be McConnell who has it. Amby throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. 5-0 the score now, and here is McConnell. He rolls a 61 for a 42 and is hit by the pitch, and that brings up Heine Wagner, and it's time to run, time to fly. Roll is a 14 for a 43, fly ball left field. McIntyre's got that for the out, 1 away. Here, McConnell stays on at first base, and here's Harry Lord. He rolls a 14 for a 43. Another fly ball to left. McIntyre's got that 2 away, just like that. Denny Sullivan now rolls a 43 for a 29. Come back over to Cy Young, over to Mullen, who throws to first for the out. We go to the top of the 7th, and it's going to be Sam Crawford up here for the Tigers. So Red Sox can't quite come back here. Crawford rolls a 15 for a 10. That'll be a single to center, and that brings up Matty McIntyre. That's what this American League has been like the whole time, right? I mean, it's been nothing but parity. And McIntyre will roll a 42 for a 14. That'll just a ball against Young because of that Z, 1 ball on him. Every time you think a team's got an advantage, then you turn around and discover that they lost another game. His next roll is a 52 for a 27. That's a ground ball to third base, and Lord goes to first with it. Crawford's a fast runner, made it into second easily. So there's 1 away, runner on at second. Here's Claude Rossman. He rolls a 15 for a 10. That's a ground ball to third again. Lord throws to first, and Crawford moves over to third. 2 gone. Germany Schaefer. He rolls a 16 for a 26. That'll be a ground ball to the second baseman, McConnell, who throws on to first, and we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. 5-0 game. Red Sox have been very, very quiet. George Mullen, despite that 7 rating, has been holding them in check. Here's Bill Kerrigan, who rolls a 26 for a 30. Fly ball to McIntyre and left for the first out, 1 away. Gavy Kravitz now is 1 for 2 today, single on the strikeout, 188 the average. I think I said that before. Rolls a 54 for a 45. Little lead roll is a 16, so it's in the range. It's changed to a 22, which means that Mullen boots that one. It's an error on him. 1 away, and here's Young. Now, normally you want to bunt with the pitcher, but there's no point in doing that here because, I mean, you're down by 5. It doesn't do you any good, so we swing away. Young rolls a 12 for a 25. There is a little lead roll. He got lucky last time. Let's see if he gets lucky again. And he does. It's a 14. How about that? So it's changed to 19. That means it's a ground ball over to the third baseman, Coughlin, who boots it. And that means there will be runners on at first and second here for the Red Sox. That's the 4th error of the ballgame on the Tigers. 7 errors total, which is not normal for 1908, at least not normal so far for this replay. So now we'll see what happens with Gessler up there. 1 out, runners on at first and second. Now he could hit into a double play, or this could be the start of something interesting. Roll for Gessler is a 35 for a 9. That's a ground ball to the left side. It will be Coughlin who has that. Throws to first for the out. Both runners move up. 2 away, and here is Bob Unglaub hitting 296 now. He's 0 for 3 today. A bunch of pop-ups. 2 to the third baseman, 1 to left field. He keeps hitting it to that left side, which tells me that he's behind on Mullen's fastballs. You didn't know Skeetersoft could do that, could you? Here's his roll. It's a 25 for an 8. That's a single over first base. Will score both runners, and now it's a 5-2 ball game. Unglaub stands over there on first base, and here comes Amby McConnell. McConnell's 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch and walked, and then had a fly ball over to right. Left-handed batter, so he's getting around on Mullen's fastballs. How about that? His roll is a 54 for a 45. Here's a little E. It's a 45, which is out of the range, so it's a fly ball over to center field. Crawford has that one can of corn, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. Still 5-2, Tigers in control. Ty Cobb leads this off. He rolls a 41 for a 28, ground ball to Heine Wagner at short, throws to first, 1 away. Bill Coughlin comes up now. Bill is 2 for 3 today. He drove in a run and was out trying to score after trying to score from first base. He's not that fast. His roll is a 16 for a 26 as a ground ball to second base, and Amby has that, throws to first, and there are 2 out. Here's Red Downs. Downs rolls a 32 for a 26, another ground ball over to Amby McConnell, who throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. So 5-2 ball game. Heine Wagner up there. Only 3 hits for the Red Sox, but they have 2 runs. 7 errors between the two teams, 4 for the Tigers, 3 for the Red Sox. Not a beautifully played game by any stretch of the imagination. Heine Wagner's 0 for 3, and he rolls a 31 for a 9. That's a single, but that little C gets him as he tries to steal second. There's 1 away. Harry Lord comes up there now. And Lord rolls a 22 for a 7. That's a single to right field with no little C. So that means that the Red Sox now have collected 5 hits. And here comes Denny Sullivan, who is 0 for 3 today, but was on with an error. 20 strikeouts, 16 walks this season for Mullen. 215 batted against average, so it's all coming down. The roll's a 14 for a 43. Here's the little E roll. It's a 24. Just misses the range. It's a fly ball to left field. McIntyre's got that 2 away. And here is Bill Kerrigan. Bill hitting 226. Probably shouldn't be starting in so many games, just taking a look at his card, but, you know, I do what I want. Rolls a 54 for a 45. Here is that little E-roll. It's a 36. That means it's a fly ball over to center field. Crawford has that for the out, and we go to the top of the 9th inning. We Bosch Schmidt, then the pitcher, and then Crawford for the Tigers. Schmidt rolls a 55 for an 8, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Heine Wagner has that, throws to first, 1 away. Here's George Mullen. George rolls a 23 for a 13 and strikes out. Strikeout number 4 for Young, who's pitching well, but not well enough. 2 outs, and here's Sam Crawford. That ERA now 0.79 for true. And this is a roll of a 64 for a 13, and that's strikeout number 5. And we go now to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Gavy Kravitz up here for the Red Sox. Kravitz Young, who will be replaced by a pinch hitter, and then Gessler. Kravitz, 186 the average, 1 for 3 today. Single, strikeout, was on an error, and scored in the end. His roll is a 35 for a 14, so he takes his base on the walk by Mullen. Mullen will stay in the game. Young is going to come out. So one pitcher exits, the other one stays in there, and the question is, who do we put in? Probably Frank Laporte, I think. Laporte comes in to hit. Now, does Kravitz have anything fun? He does not have a first column 11, so we're not going to hit and run. There's no point in bunting when you're down by 3. Laporte rolls a 64 for a 29. It's a ground ball, comebacker to Mullen, who throws to first, and Kravitz moves up to second. 1 away. Here now is Doc Gessler, who's 0 for 4. Look at this. Every single one over to third base. 3 ground balls over to Coughlin, and then he popped one up that was caught by Coughlin. So what did I say about trying to, let's see, Gessler is a left-handed hitter, so he's not getting around on that fastball, as I said. Runner on at second base, 1 out. Doc now hitting 382, so he's not flirting with 400 after this game. And his roll's a 36 for a 14, so he takes his base, and that'll bring up Bob Unglaub. Bottom of the 9th inning, 5-2 Tigers with the lead, but the tying run, a potential tying run, is at the plate in Unglaub. Unglaub, 303 the average, 11 runs batted in. He'd like to get 12, 13, even 14 here. No home runs so far. And his roll, as you can see, that white die is between 2 different places, so we always re-roll it when that happens. That's one of the kind of quirks of the felt that's in this thing. It doesn't happen that often. Next roll is a 66 for a 0. Have to point that out so you know I'm not cheating. And his next roll is a 21 for a 6. That's a double to left center field, and that will score 1. But Unglaub, Gessler, who is a slow runner, is thrown out of the plate. See, he's slow. Thrown out of the plate, that goes from McIntyre over to the cutoff man Schaefer on to the catcher Schmidt, and that makes this a 5-3 ball game. But now there are 2 outs, and Unglaub is on at second base, and he's not even the tying run. Amby McConnell at the plate represents it, so hit number 6 for the Red Sox is a 5-3 ball game. And here is McConnell. and he rolls a 15 for an 11. That's going to be a single, and that will score the run as as Unglaub is not slow. Actually, any runner scores with 2 outs. McConnell then steals second base in a daring play, and that'll bring up Heine Wagner. So it's a 5-4 ball game here with 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. And Wagner's roll, you saw that right, is an 11 for a 0. And the next roll is a 43 for an 8. That'll be a single over second base, and that scores the runner, and that will tie the ball game. Heine Wagner does it here in the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Red Sox come back with 3 big runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to take what looked like a sure defeat and turn this into a tie ball game. I tell you, when we came into this inning, I thought for sure that I knew what was going to happen with this one, and I've been kind of caught looking myself by not keeping screenshots and all of that of all these plays. Of course, if you read the blog, you know I always have a way around it. Wagner on at first base, 2 outs, 8 hits now for the Red Sox, 5-5 ball game. Mullen will stay in there for a little while. And the roll is a 31 for a 9. That's a single for Lord, and that sends Wagner over to second. That brings up Denny Sullivan, and I think now we have to take Mullen out. So we're going to take a look and see who we have here on the bench. I always look here at the game started. I want to make sure I get guys in who wouldn't pitch otherwise. We don't want to have any of these 4-5-4 type pitchers. Suggs maybe. I don't know. Summers is more like it, but he's going to start a bunch of games. You can see there are 4 guys basically who are getting all the starts. So we're going to have to probably go with Suggs, I think. So we will go with Suggs here for Detroit, and he will pitch against Denny Sullivan. He gives you that letter C, but and he has the double Z, which means he won't walk the whole park, but it comes with a prize. Denny Sullivan here, bottom of the 9th inning for the Red Sox. And his roll is a 23 for a 32. It's a fly ball over to right field, and it will be an easy play there for Ty Cobb. We go to the top of the 10th inning. Matty McIntyre here for the Tigers, top of the 10th, and we have to, of course, actually put a pitcher in. So we'll hold off on the rolling for the time being. I have had games I played on my own where I've forgotten to put the pitcher in. Not in this replay, though. That happened a lot in earlier replays I did. In the spirit of full disclosure, here we're going to put Tannehill in. I really should be starting him, but you know how it goes. Tannehill rolls a 13 for a 14. That's going to be a walk to Matty McIntyre to lead this off, and that brings up Claude Rossman. Not the way that Jesse wanted to start this. He only has a single inning pitched, and I think the fact that we're not starting him is one reason why the Red Sox are playing so well. Rossman rolls a 52 for a 27, but Lord is a poor fielder, and so that just goes third to first, and McIntyre moves to second. 1 away, and here's Germany Schaefer. Schaefer, 274 average, only 7 runs batted in. I think I've said that before. 1 for 4 today. Rolls a 53 for an 18, changed to a 21. That's a single over to deep first base, and Unglaub can't do much with that, and McIntyre moves to third. That brings up Ty Cobb. So Cobb is up here. Schaefer has the 11. We could hit and run if we wanted to. I don't know if I really want to in this situation, though. The infield will come in. I think we're just going to swing away with Cobb. If you do the hit and run, he loses some of that home run power that is possible if he hits a 0. His roll now is a 25 for an 11. That's going to be a single to left field, and that will score 1, and Schaefer moves to third. Cobb does not steal a base, one of the few times an 11 doesn't do that, and that brings up Bill Coughlin. The infield will come in again. Still 1 out, top of the 10th inning, 6-5 Tigers now. Coughlin rolls a 56 for a 34. It's going to be a high pop-up over to the first base side. Unglaub has that for the out, 2 away, and that's the sort of pitch Tannehill needed. 6-5, the score still, and it's Red Downs. Downs is 0 for 4, but got on an air earlier, as did just about everybody. He rolls a 36 for a 33, and it's a pop-up over to the second baseman McConnell, who has it for the out, and we go to the bottom of the 10th. It'll be Bill Kerrigan up against George Suggs, who's still in there. 6-5 now Tigers. Kerrigan. And he rolls a 53 for an 18. That's changed to 22, and that's going to be an error on Suggs, the pitcher. So there is a chance. So you're saying there's a chance, and there definitely is a chance. Kerrigan now the runner on at first. And that will bring up Gavy Kravith. Kravith hitting 186. He's going to bunt. I think everybody knows he's going to bunt. And then we'll have a pinch hitter for Tannehill, the pitcher. And the roll is a 26 for a 27, which means that there's 2 strikes all of a sudden, and Kravitz will take the bunt off. And now he rolls a 12 for a 24. There is a little E-roll, so he might get lucky. And he does. Look at that. It's a 21. How about that? So this changes it to a 19, which means it's going to be an error on the third baseman, Coughlin. So Kravitz, with all of the luck in the world, is able to pull one out of the fire. And that means there are runners now on first and second. There is a runner in scoring position here for the Red Sox, who are looking, of course, to stay in proximity of first place. Tannehill's going to come out for a pinch hitter. I think this is pretty obvious. What do you think? Barrett? We could put in Carlisle. Krieger? Probably not. Krieger should be our catcher, really. We could put in McHale. We could put in Jack Toney. I think we put in Jack. Jack comes in here in this situation, but he's going to need to bunt instead of swing away. Kind of an odd place for a pinch hitter, but that's what we're going to do. And the roll is a 25 for a 10, which is great. Good bunt over to the left side. Coughlin has it, throws over to first for the out, and the runners move up. And that'll bring up Gessler, and now you really have a question. So what would you do in this situation? It's the bottom of the 10th inning. You're up by a run, one out, runners on second and third. You've got to walk Gessler, who's the leading runner here in the American League. I'm about to say the National League. So that's what we're going to do. This is how the rule works. You say walk him, and you click on this, and then you say, yes, I do want to issue an intentional walk. And there it is. The roll was a 35, which would have been a 9. That would have potentially, I can't remember what a 9 is in that situation, but it doesn't really matter. It's all academic anyway. And so Gessler is walked intentionally, and that loads the bases here for Bob Unglaub. The infield comes in. Now, you can't play with the infield in the double play depth, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is a pretty simple game. 26 minutes into this game, so this is one of your longer NP3 games, and we've been trying to explain a few things along the way. Unglaub comes up, runners on at all three bags. Bob Unglaub today 2 for 5, is driven in 3 and scored a run. 310 is average. 3 RBIs today, and he's got 12 on the season. That tells you what this day has been like for him. And his roll is a 12 for a 25. There's a little E. We've had 6 errors on the Tigers so far, and this is a 54, which is out of the range, and that means that is a double play. It's a ground ball to Suggs. It goes to the catcher and back onto first for the double play, and that ends it. So the Tigers are able to get out of this game. They're able to get out of it in almost miraculous fashion, and I don't think that you could have asked for anything more if you were rooting for the Red Sox in this one. They had it within their grasp, and it was just Unglaub who got a little bit unfortunate on that one. He swung at the wrong pitch, and it was back to Suggs, on to home, and on to first, and he just couldn't beat it out. That's what happens when you have an S. You're too slow. There you go. Final score again. Tigers 6, Red Sox 5. Tigers will go to 11 and 13. Red Sox to 15 and 11, and they're going to be praying that the Athletics lose later on today, as in this day in 1908. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll talk to you again later. Bye-bye.